Hello. Those of you who know me know that I have for years made blogs and vlogs and all sorts of things, radio programs about Adam Lambert's voice. I did it because, as a former operatic soprano and performer myself, I really admire his voice and his artistry and as a performer. And I know he's one of the most iconic, most important artists I have certainly ever experienced. And I'm truly grateful to be alive in the world at the same time as him, so that I had the opportunity to hear him sing and to experience him. It is truly wonderful. So now, a lot of Adam's fans have asked me over the years to make a video like this, and I have never tried because I am a complete techno dunce. I don't know how to do these things. I don't know how to edit them, and to be frank, I am too busy doing other things to learn. So I'm going to try and do all of this live, and I apologize in advance if it all goes a bit screwy. The other reason I decided to do it now is because just recently Adam put out one of his songs, one of his tracks from his new album, Velvet, and the song's name is Superpower, and I really liked it a lot. I like the catchiness of it. I love the fact that it's got an amazing message. And I love what he does with his voice in it. So I thought I'd talk about that. And the other reason I want to talk about that is because over the last 3 years, I have been writing, finally, some books about voice. Those of you who know me know that I teach voice as well. I teach it for actors and singers and speakers and performers, and also I started the series with a book on breathing first, because I feel breathing is incredibly important for health reasons as well. So I talk about abdominal breathing. I talk about breathing in the way that we do as performers, because it is something that helps us all. I mean, it you sleep better when you breathe better. Everything is just better. And so why should it be the domain only of performers, right? So that's one of the reasons I started writing it. And of course, breathing underpins everything, so you kind of have to start with breathing in order to write about voice. So my book is called Breathing for Confidence, and this is this is what it looks like. Can you see? Yeah, like that, because I don't have a copy of it here, unfortunately. So you can probably see, and I didn't realize this, that the cover is green. And of course, Adam's new Velvet album is also green, a different color green though. His is more bottle green and mine is sort of lighter green. So it's very interesting to me. I think, oh wow, we must have had similar thoughts somewhere in the ether to produce something so similar, because the series name is Your Voice, Your Superpower. And I really believe that our voices are our superpower. Anyway, so that's enough about that. So let's get on to the video. Now, as I said before, I apologize in advance if it all goes screwy. I hope you can see and hear this. Okay, so let's go.
There's something missing and I'm pissed and I got something to say. Oh yeah.
Okay, so there's already quite a lot to say, even in that small bit. I'm not going to talk about absolutely everything because I'll be here all day and this video would be too long. Nobody would want to watch it and listen to it. And obviously I do want people to understand a little bit more about how amazing Adam is. Now, I've spoken about this a lot before in the fact that he has told his fans, and I have spoken with him face to face about this. He has studied opera for a little while, and so the techniques that he learned in classical singing is the techniques that he is still using today in pop music. And people often ask me about that. They often ask, well, what's the difference between opera and pop and all of that? Well, here's the thing. Yes, there is a difference, and that is a video for another time. But the techniques themselves are the same for all styles of singing. So there are good techniques, and you usually learn those in classical singing. Those techniques are for everyone. They are for every single style of music that you sing. They don't change your voice, okay? Your voice is changed by something else, but not by the basic techniques. So what are the basic techniques? And you can probably hear it. I know a lot of Adam's fans would have seen it because they've been watching him and listening to him for years, as have I, since Idol days. So he uses optimal breathing, abdominal breathing, and he uses the muscles in his body to control and project his voice and to control volume. And that's really important because you'll very seldom see sort of tight muscles here or hear his vocal folds squeezing. Very seldom. He does the squeezing bit when he's trying to do it consciously. He's trying to put something across as a interpretation. Then he may use it. So you can hear in even this little bit, there's a bit of grunginess that he puts into the sound that he's making. And he's doing that with muscles, the muscles around his vocal folds and in his body. Now, a lot of the fans have asked me before, doesn't he hurt his vocal folds when he squeezes like that and uses his voice louder, more volume? And the answer is no, he doesn't. If he did, he would not be able to continue singing. It's as simple as that. So let's continue listening. Okay, so those are the basic techniques. So just before I continue on, I will also say that he, and I've spoken about this before as well, he sings legato, whether he's singing pop music or rock or whatever, it's legato, which is fantastic for us to listen to because it's like he speaks the phrases in one breath. And that is something you learn in classical music. Not so much in pop music, but I can hear quite a lot of pop singers are now doing it. I don't know if they're doing it because of him or whether they're doing it because they are actually understanding that you have to have proper vocal training in order to have a longer career. So I can hear that there are some of them that's now doing it. They're singing more legato sounds. Because Adam has such incredible breath control, of course, he can sing phrases in a way that almost nobody else can, apart from maybe opera singers. So, so it really extends what your voice is able to do when you have access to these techniques. And that is, of course, what I teach. So these techniques are available to anybody and everybody. It's not just me that's doing it, but I think it has something to do with how you teach it and also the person that you're teaching, how they're learning it, you know, how easy it is for them to take it on board. And that's where the trick comes. That's not always the easy part. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, so again, there's quite a lot to say here, but I won't continue talking because I can do that quite easily. Those of you who know me know that I can talk a lot. So, what is extraordinary here is that Adam allows his voice to interpret not just the music, and not just the words, but the meaning behind the words. Now, that sounds a bit convoluted, doesn't it? But here's the thing. We can all interpret words, for example. We can all read a poem and make sense of it and read it well. There's a whole different thing that happens when you use your voice as a singer to interpret not only the words, but the sound of the words and the meaning behind the words and the sound. And that is what Adam does so well, even in pop music. And that's what blows my mind completely, because he's an absolute consummate professional and a master at what he does. And he just gets better and better and better. And so he makes these things look unbelievably easy. It's not. Trust me, it really isn't. But that's part of his artistry, because he makes us feel as though everybody can do this. So let's continue on. Okay, so this is amazing to me because he goes from his chest voice into falsetto. Now, you may think that this is, what the hell am I talking about? All of us have different registers in our voices, okay? And they sit in different places in our body. Now, normally when you sing in your chest voice, it's exactly what it says. You can feel, as a singer, you can feel the vibration in your chest. You feel centered there. When you sing falsetto, you go through another register to get to falsetto. So what he's doing is he's smoothly passing through the head voice to get to falsetto. We can't even hear that he's doing it. That is amazing, and that is art, and difficult to do. And the reason it's so difficult is because it requires completely different sensation in your body. It requires completely different muscles that you're using, different way of breathing. It's like you change everything on a dime. It's so quick. It's literally from one sound to the next, he's doing it. And that is astonishing. And falsetto is very difficult to do. Not many people can do it easily. There are exceptions to everything, but most people cannot do it easily, okay? So I don't know if he had to study to do it. Most of us do. It's just, that's what happens. Unless you're a little kid. Tiny children, they can do it naturally. But at some point we lose it. So what happens is, so you're singing in your chest, he just did that, and then you go into the mask. The mask is here. So you go right into the mask, and to do that and to have the different sensations so quickly, this is quite, it takes some doing. It really does. Okay. So now, then he goes from falsetto right back into chest voice. Now, not only is it quite difficult to do the other way round and this way round, he does it without breaking his voice. Now, sometimes we hear, especially pop singers, who don't perhaps have as much technique or control over their technique or their voice. You can hear when they break the sound. There's a very clear break. With Adam, you cannot, and that is what we want. That is the artistry, okay? So, but it's very difficult to not break the voice when you go from one register to the next. And like I just said, he went through two. He went through the head voice into falsetto. So he's missing, and we can't hear it. We can't hear that he's doing that. That is amazing and astonishing, and not many people can do that. But then he goes back the other way. And again, it can be quite dangerous for the singer, because you can lose control quite easily there if you're not on it, you know. Obviously he is. So as you then go back into the chest voice, you have, again, you know, that different sensation in your body. Because, of course, singing is a sensory experience, not just for the audience who feel the sound and take it in. The singer also feels it. Obviously, you feel the vibration. That's a given. But you feel all the different kinds of tones and sounds that you produce. You feel it in your body. So can you understand what I mean? How difficult it is and how astonishing it is that you go from one register right through another into the other register without anybody noticing that you're doing that. It's amazing, right? Okay.
Ain't okay. Oh no. You kick us down in the dirt, but we ain't going nowhere. Hey, hey, yeah. I get back up when I fall, with the pain from the wall. When I win the
Okay, so here's another thing that's quite amazing to me too, is that he sings in such this offbeat rhythm. Now, you may think that's easy to do. It's not, trust me, it's not. For him it is. He lives, breathes and sleeps music, clearly, but it's, if you're not used to doing that kind of rhythm, singing it's difficult. But Adam understands that his voice is an instrument, and he treats it as an instrument. And of course, an instrument can play all those different rhythms and sounds. Isn't it interesting, though, too? Can you hear the nuances in the sound? There's like, if you close your eyes and you listen to him, because he's distracting to watch, isn't he? But if you close your eyes and you listen, you can hear that even within the same sound, there's slightly different nuances. So, for example, he will elongate a vowel sound, or maybe a proportion of a vowel sound, or he'll just linger a little bit longer, maybe on a consonant, and that's what produces the magic. Now, he probably, I don't know, maybe he still thinks about it. I know for myself, as a performer and all the fantastic singers I've ever worked with, singing, yes, it's a sensory experience, but you also continue to think. You have to. You continually think about what it is you're doing, what it is you're saying, because if you don't and you come away from what you're doing and lose concentration, not only will you lose your place and probably forget the lyrics or whatever, but your audience will pick up quite quickly that you aren't there, that you've lost them for a split second. And once you lose them for a bit, you've lost them. You know, it's difficult to get them back. Oh. Okay, so then he goes from belting into falsetto. Belting into falsetto. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's quite astonishing, because you're using a completely different set of muscles, you're using a different control system for belting, and then falsetto. So not only are you changing registers twice, you are also changing the intensity and where you use your muscles and how you feel the sound in your body. So, for example, with falsetto, often you will feel the sound at the back of your head and in your teeth it will vibrate, and of course here, sort of here. So new agey people talk about the third eye. It's kind of there, you know. It's that kind of thing. So it's a completely, so, and he did it within a note of each other. Did you hear? Isn't that amazing? Now, I don't know many people who can do that and do it that well without us noticing it. And that's the point. That's what makes it art. That's what makes it so astonishing. Yes, so as I said, not many people can do this. And here's the other thing that I want to tell you that I've noticed again with Adam. I'm watching here, so my eyes are all over the place. I think it was 2012. I was fortunate enough to experience Adam in a very small venue. There were only a few of us, and he sang, and I was mesmerized because I've worked with some amazing singers in my life, like really amazing singers. But Adam is he's a whole other level. He displaces the sound and the air around him. Yes, he's a master communicator. And so, yes, he's forceful with what he does. He commits 100,000,000%, which we all do. I mean, if you go and sing opera, people pay a lot of money to come and see you. You better be committed. And of course, as an artist, you want to be truthful to the music that you're performing, right? But Adam does something else. He displaces the air around him. So he creates a different vibration in the air around him, not just with his voice, but with his being. And that's what astonished me when I saw it, because I hadn't realized until that night that that's what he does. And I've seen many of his shows. I've been to many of his shows. And yes, you know that it's something magical, it's something different. You come away and you know, like for weeks afterwards, you're like walking on cloud nine. And I think it's probably because he's, you know, I don't know, charge you up with some kind of a vibration, or I've heard people say that he, you know, helps your chakras to spin in the right direction. Whatever it is that he's doing it. But I didn't realize until that night how powerful he is, whether there's a big audience or a very small audience. And it's incredible. So when I see things like this, I think, oh, I know what that's like to be in that space with him. Because I don't for a moment think that he doesn't do that all the time when he's singing. I always tell my students this, actually. The way that you rehearse is the way that you perform. If you rehearse half-heartedly, you will perform half-heartedly. And so therefore, he must be rehearsing like this. So can you imagine being in his band or being a backing singer and be in that energy when he's even just rehearsing? It's astonishing. So let's see. The other thing that's incredible about the falsetto is that often, because it's so light and it's a different feeling in your body, as a singer, it's really difficult to have the same intensity that you would have when you sing in a full voice, whether it's head voice or chest voice. But did you hear? He's doing the same intensity with falsetto. That is something else to be done, isn't it? I mean, I don't know many people who can do that either, because it's easy then to flip into your head voice. Yeah, makes sense? I love how much enjoyment he has. Okay, there you can hear the head voice. So can you hear the difference between head voice and falsetto? There you heard it, right? So the head voice is much sharper, it's clearer, it's definitely the head voice. You can hear it. And then the falsetto is something else. Yeah? The other thing I just want to talk about also quite quickly is his posture. In my book, Breathing for Confidence, it's one of the things I talk about, because most of us these days are sort of like hunched over something, you know, a computer or a device or something. As a singer, because you want to breathe properly and full lung breathing, your posture better be brilliant, upright and aligned. And you can see, even when he's dancing, even when he's moving, his posture stays upright and his lungs are extended fully. And that was the other thing that night at that venue where I went. It was amazing how majestic he is. Yes, that's a good word for it, majestic. Right. So, I'm not sure what this is doing now. We want to stop it, don't we? Oh. This is why I don't do these things, because I don't know what I'm doing. So we'll close it.
Now today,
I'm
going to show.
I don't know what happened there, but okay, so all right. So thank you very much for watching my video. I hope that you understood everything I said. If you have any questions or you want to talk to me, leave some comments in the comments below the video, and I will try to respond to you. I will try to do some more of these if this one has worked. Oh my goodness, because the other song of his that I absolutely adore and I cannot stop listening to it is Overglow. I think that's what it is. I'm not familiar yet. I'm still waiting for my CD to arrive as well. So in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, let me know, and then I'll make some more of these for you. So until next time.